Household names like Facebook, Twitter, Shopify, and Slack are considering permanent work-from-home measures after a successful transition. Considering the potential to cut costs by keeping the team members remote, such plans make quite a financial sense. But how to manage remote teams effectively in the first place? If you are into managing remote teams, this video is precisely for you. Watch this video till the end to attempt a short quiz. Working from home isn't the same as working in the office. So at first, stop managing your remote workers as if they work on site. Rather, use these 4 effective leadership tips to manage work from home. Number 1, focus on your long-term goals. Think about the past few months. How much time did you spend working on long-term goals and strategy? If it's been less time than usual, that's understandable. When you're not sure what next week has in store, it can be tough to think about the next chapter or next year. But as you settle into long-term remote work, it's important to refocus on your company's long-term goals. These goals will help shape what your organization prioritizes in the short term. Take Alan Mullally's tenure at Ford. For example, Mullally started as Ford's CEO in the late 2000s, and it was his responsibility to lead the brand through the ensuing financial crisis. Instead of merely cutting costs everywhere, he could, and hoping the company would make it to the other side, he used his long-term vision that the company would create high-quality, environmentally friendly vehicles as his guiding light. Every decision he made was meant to get closer to that goal. He explained as much to his management team to ensure they and the rest of the company were aligned with that long-term strategy. This is even more important when you are managing remote teams. In fact, setting the priorities right is how to stay productive and effective when working from home. Number 2, communicate your expectations clearly. While leading remote teams, you lose elements like nonverbal communication cues. You have to individualize your managerial approach even more than normal while your employees contend with parenting from home, caring for loved ones, home internet issues, and the challenges of learning to live during a pandemic. It is one of the challenges in remote team management. Chances are good that throughout your organization's pandemic response, you've been communicating clearly and often with employees at all levels. But just because you and your team have settled into the new routines of remote work doesn't mean that communication should stop. In fact, now's the time to ramp up that communication, especially when it relates to setting remote work expectations. This is key to lead remote teams effectively. According to Zapier, which has a fully remote team, it's crucial to set expectations regarding how quickly employees should respond to messages, which tasks need to be completed, who is responsible for completing them, and the deadlines for completing those tasks. Once you nail down your remote work expectations, create clear messaging around them so that you can distribute to your team via multiple channels. As everyone gets comfortable with these new standards, it may help to remind folks about them in company-wide emails, department meetings, and even one-on-one meetings between employees and their managers. Managing remote employees isn't as hard as it looks. Number 3, set ground rules for meetings. Another critical set of expectations to set involves how you'll conduct meetings in a virtual space while managing virtual teams. Without guidelines in place, you may be setting yourself and your team up for disruptions and unproductive conversations. No matter which video conferencing platform your team uses to connect, offering a little guidance can help employees avoid making incorrect assumptions about how they can make the most of their time collaborating. At the very least, expect employees to be punctual, suggests Christine Alameni, CEO of branding and marketing firm TBGA. Arriving late to a Zoom call is just as disruptive as showing up late to an in-person meeting. Beyond that, You might consider requiring employees to be on camera at all times and asking them to close all tabs on their laptops. Do anything you can to limit multitasking, reduce distractions, and ensure employees pay attention. Number 4, make time for company culture. Just because you're not in the office doesn't mean you can let your company culture fade away. Your efforts to foster a culture among your employees might even be more important now, considering that a major complaint about long-term remote work is the lack of face time with coworkers and feelings of isolation. Fortunately, you likely already have access to some of the tools you need to address this issue. Use an instant messaging platform like Slack to post prompts that get employees to communicate casually with one another as they would around the water cooler at work. These prompts could include sharing baby photos, productivity tips, work-from-home setups, or pictures of pets for starters. Encourage employees to use video for check-in calls to remind everyone that humans exist on the other side of the screen. If you can, consider sending snacks or small pick-me-ups to your employees by mail in lieu of free treats in the break room. The opportunities are endless. Just make sure they align with your existing cultural practices, so you don't have to break the company culture for managing remote teams. If you didn't start 2020 thinking that you'd be leading a fully remote team in a matter of months, you're not alone. But with these strategies under your belt, you can make the best of an uncertain situation and start practicing virtual team building exercises. Focus on the long game. Keep everyone in the loop on expectations and meeting guidelines, and find ways to inject company culture into your new routines, and you'll set yourself up for successful work-from-home leadership. Make sure that you practice these remote team management strategies with consistency. Now, I have 2 questions for you. 1. Which of the following challenges are you facing in your virtual team management? Is it A, communication gaps, B, lack of human touch, C, undefined work hours, or D, any other challenge? And number 2, which platform is effective for virtual team activities? Is it A, Facebook, B, Instagram, C, Slack, or D, WhatsApp? Proactively write your answers in the comments section, and also let your fellow viewers know about virtual team building ideas you have in mind. I am Mr. Smart, and I have crafted this animation based on the writing of Rhett Power. He is the CEO of Power Coaching and Consulting and a contributor to Forbes and Incorporated magazine. He was named as the best small business coach in the United States in 2018. Besides this, he is the author of the best-selling book, The Entrepreneur's Book of Actions. Subscribe to this channel to watch more animations based on his writings. Furthermore, join the Smart Club through the link in the pinned comment for a detailed quiz, PDF version, and illustration of every new animation. Now, I need to remind you that Mr. Smart is not just another YouTube channel. It is a complete learning and self-development portal. Visit the website mrsmart.org to find more content, quizzes, and courses. Live long, smart living.